following is a technical analysis on Palantir, a company of the technology sector and software infrastructure based upon the weekly interval. Upon zooming you in, I will hone in onto the daily interval and find additional clues that could be subject to its next underlying trend here. And right off the bat here, you have a mean of reversion based upon the 50 weekly exponential moving average here, close to being shy of being tapped and defended each and every time. It has, ever since it broke out of its profitable quarterly earnings period, that has been lights off to the races and coming near shy to tapping it once again each and every time. So something like looking like that. But again, you could make the bullish case for potential bullish cup and handle if and when some of these sell signals are averted and are bid up in the process, where long traders and or bull traders continue the momentum in the II trade all the way to the top, re-challenging a primary resistance level, which will come around the $29, $22 range. Bull traders, long traders, they want to see a solid weekly candle close breakout above that key inflection point to go on to re-challenge new all-time reactionary highs around the $45 range. Make no mistake about it, some of these divergences have only continued to construct and establish on a much larger scale as momentum is beginning to wane within the technical momentum indicators down below within the Wilder's RSI and price percent oscillator. And the most important technical insights I've gained are these patterns that indicate bearish trends, and they are what you would call bearish technical induced patterns, where you have an advanced bearish continuation pattern, waning momentum as soon as those green solid candle infused buyers take the validity and the weight of the price to the upside, and momentum begins to wane, followed by a nice clean bearish doji star here. A very indecisive candle, which could signature in next via reversal trend pattern. And that would only increase the odds in overpowering the near-term intervals based off the big picture here in the weekly, where the vast majority of the masses have bought around this key volume at price range, called the $25 range, which could be the recipe for a major leg down on a revisit to the reversion of the mean down to the 50 exponential moving average for an 18 to 20% crash to the downside. And upon zooming you into the daily, in subject of additional clues that may be met here, things started to really change right off that divergent high, and that had been a catalyst for a much larger 24% crash move to the downside, only to be deflected and putting in a nice clean triple bottom, and it has been lights off to the races ever since with a sky high valuation. Some of the key technical levels that I see now, we have a solid solidified breakdown sell signal on a solid red infused candle breakdown below the 27.51 price resistance, as well as the primary reactionary uptrend line here off the June major reactionary lows, and that had been a significant telling point if and when it was taken out with conviction. You have a nice clean divergent high, bearish crossover here in the moving average convergence with an oscillator histogram with a solid red candle close below its zero line threshold here, only increasing the odds for a much larger drop to come. Some of these key levels to watch out for: the 25.42 price range, which will be another 3% in correlation to its 50 exponential moving average, down to 23.41 for a 10.7% crash, 22.74 for an additional, call it a 13% crash, and if things get real bad, a revisit of the primary reactionary uptrend line right off the May 2023 major reactionary lows, and that has one of the, if not the biggest key technical level for Palantir if and when revisited. On the long term, make no mistake about it, we are in a current major reactionary uptrend here in the near term based upon the daily time frame, and that could be beginning stages for a healthier pullback back down for which would call 28% crash, only for long traders and or bull traders to eat that level up, and continue its big rally and upward momentum in the long term. If and when some of these key levels are once again revisited, short sellers, they want to see an additional big breakdown sell signal below the 2027 price support level, and that would usher in a secondary big sell signal, in my opinion, psychological level that needs to be defended heavily by long traders and or bull traders with an unfilled and unchecked gap down below. This is an objective short trade setup as clean as you can possibly get here. Any snapback or big counter trend rally right back up into the 27.51 price resistance would look exceedingly bullish for a 4% move, all the way even back to the top of that bottom of that primary uptrend line for a 9% move. And then ultimately the 29.46 price resistance would need to be held, which would look really bullish right off the bat there for bulls. And that would be a huge trap if short sellers can hold that level. If they pop that level, then I would expect a ton of squeezing for the short seller, only infusing a major rally to the upside. Any snapback in or counter trend rally right back into that primary uptrend line resistance would add on an existing short trade size to your position. If not, a beautiful entry for a much larger risk reward setup to the downside for 11% crash. If you're a long-term believer in Palantir, some of these key levels are really your dollar cost average levels to hone in on and buy if and when some of these levels are once again revisited. If we were to snap this level, I will give you additional levels to dollar cost average down, which would include that gap resistance around the 1766 range. Don't really want to see that level go. That will be a big telling point if and when some of these big levels are taken out with authority, especially with Tom Lee on NBC urging people to invest in AI and small cap stocks, combined with the surge in trading volume at specific price inflection points, where this situation can rapidly escalate, leading to even more selling.